Hi, you're on the Retelling Films channel, and this is a retelling of the movie Pandemonium. Two men wake up in the middle of a mountain road after a car accident. They realize that they have died, and now an eternity in hell awaits them. The movie begins high in the mountains, in the middle of the road. The main character Nathan comes to his senses after a car accident and is glad to be in one piece. Nearby is Daniel the motorcyclist, whose collision caused the accident. Daniel is also suspiciously whole, which is uncharacteristic of a motorcyclist. The men discuss their incredible luck standing on the road and wonder if they should buy a lottery ticket, but Daniel is not so optimistic. He says that the men did not survive on the road, but died in the collision. Nathan doesn't believe him, but when he gets closer to the car, he finds his own corpse in the driver's seat. The harsh reality saddens the man. He can't believe he died while in the prime of his life. While Daniel humbly, and with some satisfaction, accepts the existence of the afterlife, Nathan is hysterical, unwilling to accept it. He believes that he's in the hospital, and that the doctors are fighting for his life, and that what he sees is a side effect of the anesthesia. Daniel pulls his bloody body out of the car to help accept the fact that he is dead. Instead, Nathan wonders how Daniel, being a ghost, managed to pull the body out. The musings are interrupted by the appearance of another car. The driver doesn't see the men, but notices a dead body in the road. Instead of calling an ambulance, he searches the dead man's pockets. The deed is ugly, but profitable, after which he leaves. Accepting his new reality, Nathan worries that hell and heaven also exist, which means he will be judged for the grave sin of murder, among other things. He is somehow involved in the death of his wife, although he specifies that he did not kill her. In addition, he cannot hear the music that Daniel hears. As the snow covered the road, a door made of ice appeared next to the men. That is where the music is coming from. Daniel wants to go through this door when Nathan notices opposite another gate, gloomy red in two leaves. With their appearance, Nathan also hears sounds unavailable to a fellow traveller, cries of pain. However, he doesn't want to go through the creepy door and screams into the air that he killed his wife for a reason, but out of compassion to spare her the agony of illness. Pushing Daniel away, Nathan runs to the door that was intended for him, but it leads nowhere. The comrade assumes that this turn was foreseen long ago. After hugging each other goodbye, the newly dead depart. Daniel walks through his door, but all he has accomplished is to stop hearing the music. A girl appears next to the men and asks Daniel if he is the one who hit her on his motorcycle. The man is surprised because shortly before the accident, he had seen the girl on the side of the road, but passed her by. Although perhaps it was all wrong, he was a little drunk at the wheel and could have confused his readings, because of which he now also hears the damned screams. Nathan convinces the girl to come with him through the icy door, but she doesn't trust strangers and starts screaming. Daniel grabs the girl and throws her into the doorway, making her disappear, and then the door itself disappears, leaving the men in a hopeless situation. Standing in front of the gates of hell, Daniel says that he would prefer not to go through them voluntarily, but to be dragged there by force. Nathan helps him by pushing him with his foot, after which he repeats his arguments to the sky that he has only helped his wife fulfill what she was thinking in her depression, but the sky only responds with silence. Only when Nathan refuses to go to the gate, a creepy monster made of smoke appears and heads towards him. Frightened, Nathan jumps through the doors and finds himself in a bleak, dark desert. There are bodies lying on the cracked ground, and he leans over one. It is a little girl named Nina, and the plot switches to her life before she went to hell. Nina lies in bed and listens to her parents arguing on the first floor. They are arguing over her. The mother accuses the father of not taking care of her daughter enough and of being afraid of her. Nina goes downstairs to make herself some jam sandwiches. The story switches to her conversations with the doctor. The girl tells how she strangled birds and poked a pencil at her younger sister, whom she hates. There are symptoms of apathy bordering on manic violence. Also, Nina wants to hurt her parents. The next morning, after an argument, a girl in a bloody dress stands over their bodies with stab wounds. Afterward, Nina makes a sandwich and goes down to the basement. There lives a disfigured man named Tony, whom the girl accuses of killing her parents, but is not too worried about it. She lets him go upstairs, though he says he had nothing to do with the murder. The girl takes Tony to the bathroom to wash and change his clothes, and then tells him to clean up his parents' bodies. They take the corpses to the room of the home theatre, where Nina plays a stage play for the dead about the incident. At the same time, the girl hears the voices of unseen spectators and their applause, which indicates that her mental state is at a very critical level. Also, the girl brings Tony, the killer of her parents, on stage, who says he remembers nothing of his life before meeting her. The performance ends with Tony's fake execution by hanging. With his last word, he reiterates that he is innocent. As she dresses up near the mirror, Tony approaches her and notices that he is not reflected in the mirror, which makes sense for an imaginary friend, on whom the juvenile sociopath blames her own antics. At lunch, they are discussing what to do next when the doorbell rings and the postman brings a package. He asks for an adult to sign for it. The girl calls Tony, but he understandably doesn't show up. Leaving the card, the postman leaves, and Nina rushes to look for the imaginary monster. He is nowhere to be found, and having run around the house, the girl finds him in the bedroom of her parents, where he devours their corpse. After that, Nina goes to her younger sister Claire, to whom she tells that Tony killed her parents and now wants to kill her. The sister asks for some time to finish the drawing, but Nina refuses. Nina takes her sister into the kitchen, where she shoves her into the oven and turns it on. Ignoring Claire's knocking from inside, the sociopath sprints away, humming a little song under her breath. Nathan wakes up in hell, near the body of the dead Nina. Barely restraining himself from vomiting in disgust, he crawls on his knees to the next sinner. She turns out to be a sad woman named Julia, whose story also begins in the kitchen. She pours tea, barely holding back tears. Sitting at the table, she sees a bloodstain on the countertop, which she tries to scrub away. Julia calls her daughter Chloe to hurry up. They have to go. The girl does not hear, forcing her mother to go to her room and to the bathroom. There it is discovered that the girl is dead. She is lying in water scarlet, with blood with her veins cut. However, the mother already knew this, she just refused to believe it. Julia pulls her daughter out and drags her across the cold tile away, sitting the corpse at the table. A mother brings her daughter breakfast. Julia chats with her, making plans as the story rolls backwards. Before this incident, her mother behaved strictly with her, fully immersed in her work. Chloe recalls how she was bullied by her classmates at her new school and had no one to even discuss it with. Sitting at the table, she stabs her finger with a knife and leaves a bloody imprint on the surface. On the way out, the girl confesses to her mother that she doesn't want to go to school. Things are not going well for her there, but Julia convinces her that these are temporary difficulties of the new girl and soon everything will get better. Julia puts her daughter in the chair, ignoring calls from work. Now she does not care about career development. She decides to go with her dead daughter to the coast, as if nothing has happened. Only, outside the front door, the woman sees a brick wall, a metaphor for the dead end, she finds herself in. Chloe's memories come next. School bullies caught her in the restroom, put her on her knees, forced her to kiss her feet while taking photos on her phone. The story returns to Julia's house. The bricks outside the door have disappeared, and now neighbour Emma is standing at the entrance. She notices that something is wrong with the landlady and is worried about Chloe in a wheelchair. Upon entering the house, the neighbour sees that the girl is dead, after which she transfers a dumbfounded look to Julia. In the next scene, Julia is carrying her daughter in a car down the road. She continues to talk to her daughter, muffling her heartache and dropping tears. With no answer, Julia finally closes her daughter's eyes and drives the car straight into a pole, cutting off her life too. However, the rescuers who arrived at the scene pull Julia out of the car, wounded but alive. Imbued with their memories, Nathan carefully covers the faces of mother and daughter with a shroud. He is then approached by a horned devil in a hoodie. He volunteers to escort Nathan to his personal eternal torment. Upon rising, the man wonders where is justice. He killed his wife suffering from multiple sclerosis out of pity to ease her agony. The devil tells him that no one will listen, and he is doomed to eternal torment. He leads the sinner to another door leading to the first circle, where he will be alone until the memory of his physical body is completely erased. Once through the door, Nathan finds himself in a room with red lights, where he will have to spend 4,000 years in quarantine. As the devil leaves, right through the wall, Nathan notices a stirring at the opposite wall, where Billy, the disfigured executioner, is lying covered with rags. For him, every sinner is a toy, which the executioner plays with like a small child, just beating until it breaks, including with his head against the wall. Nathan lies on the floor, choking on his own blood. But when the executioner beats him to death, the voice of the devil tells Billy that they are losing the souls of sinners because of him. Simultaneously, surgeons in the operating room perform a C-section. A baby is born into which Nathan is reincarnated. But this is not just reincarnation. The damned soul, returned to earthly life, is the Antichrist, and in general, no one is allowed to escape from hell except the Winchester brothers. Of course, the newborn child with the soul of Nathan grows up quietly, not suspecting that the executioner Billy has already tracked him down and is ready to bring the sinner back to the underworld. And that's where the movie ends, unlike the eternal torment of the protagonist. What do you think about this movie? Write your thoughts about the movie in the comments. If you liked my short retelling, then put likes and subscribe to not miss new videos. See you soon.